I'm JB,
I'm Nada.
and we just went to see Den of Thieves 2 Pantera.
Yeah. Let's
Let's talk
talk
about
about
it.
it. So, if you have not seen Den of Thieves 1, the first one, stop the video right now, okay? Run to Max because it's there to watch for free. Go watch 1, come back to the video. Because at the end of 1, spoiler, so get off the video right now. The end of 1, we see Donnie. And he's basically just got away with all the money from the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
So 2 is going to pick up sometime after that. But tell us a little bit about 2.
All right, so Den of Thieves 2 Pantera is directed by David Judagast. It's obviously a sequel to Den of Thieves 1, and it picks up with Donnie having all the money from the first film, starting off in Nice, France.
Yeah. So we have O'Shea playing Donnie.
And we have Gerard Butler playing Nick.
All right.
The two main leads.
So we finished watching the movie. What are your thoughts? How you feeling about it?
Man, y'all, I didn't really like this movie that much. It was a fun film. It was occasionally entertaining, but it wasn't really a lot of action. Not like the trailer make it seem like it's a lot of action. It wasn't hitting as much.
Yeah, I really expected to like it a lot because we loved the first movie,
Loved it.
right?
It was
loved
great.
it. Like we bought it. That's how much we liked the first
it was great.
movie. But this one just wasn't hitting. It wasn't as gritty. They tried to be a little funny, and I don't know how I felt about that.
Yeah,
really.
I think they leaned a little much into the comedy, so it didn't feel as serious as the first movie. And I was kind of looking for that seriousness, that grit, that weight,
the tension. A lot of tension was in the first one.
A lot of tension, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's because the characters were developing in the first one that we kind of are missing that same like character. Well, they try to do a little different character development, but the weightiness, the tension of it, just I don't know. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
They try to like build on these like relationships between different people, and we'll talk about that in the spoiler section, but I don't know, it didn't hit the same. Like
it felt like I was waiting maybe an hour to an hour and a half before some actual action happened.
Yeah.
Like, it felt more of like a drama in the beginning. And really the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like more of a drama. And then when we finally get to some action, I mean, it's half action because the scene is really cool.
It's short-lived.
It's really short, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Am I saying don't go see the movie? No. I'm not saying that.
No.
I just think we had some expectations from the first one.
Yeah.
And this one really, it just didn't meet it. But
and you just may want to temper your expectations. That's all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I still say go check the movie out, see what you think. Let us know in the comments. Come back to the post. Let us know what you think about
tell
it.
us what you think.
Still go see the movie. But if you think it's about to be a whole lot of like action gun fights, all of that, if you think it's going to be the same grit like it was with 50 Cent and stuff all in the first one, it's not going to be like that. We meant to look to see how much like 50 Cent was involved because that's kind of like his, I don't know, his thing when he writes. But
yeah, but I mean, he ain't in the movie though. He gone.
Well, no, he is gone.
Yeah, man, we're gone.
But so yeah, that's kind of what we thought about it.
Yeah,
you check it out. You let us know, and we are gonna get to the spoiler section. Okay, so if you don't want to know what happened in the movie, like rundown of it, you can go ahead and exit the video.
Yeah, turn the video off now.
Okay, bye. Spoiler alert. All right. So rundown of the movie. So it kind of starts off same way as the first one. You got a heist. They are trying to steal this diamond off of a plane. So I did kind of like how that was set up. They come in, they get everybody off the plane real quick. They come on there and they steal this big old stone, like a big diamond.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what Donnie is doing. Donnie is still in the life of crime, right? He's still out here. But at the same time, you see Nick. So Nick is back in the United States. He has not let this Federal Reserve thing go.
Yeah, he's essentially recovering from the acts of the first film.
Yeah. And so he's trying to get everybody to still pursue, because at the end of one, he realizes, oh, Donnie is the one that got away with all the money.
Mhm.
So he's still trying to get the government to pursue some action against him, and they're not having it. They're like, listen, nobody even knows about this. We can't even trace where this money went.
Right.
So they're not trying to put any like real effort into catching him. So eventually he ends up finding like somebody, another detective, that kind of looks into where these large sums of money were moved around, and he figures out what bank, what was his name, Merriman?
Yeah, Merriman from the first film.
Yeah, what bank Merriman was using, and he's kind of able to track the money to a certain bank. This bank in particular has a branch that's across the street from the World Diamond Center in Nice, France.
Which is where Donnie's trying to rob.
Yes.
So
that's how they end up coming back together, right? So we see Donnie, he meets up with he got a whole new team now, and they're essentially trying to begin to plan this heist. So he comes in and he's pretending like he has diamonds to sell. He's trying to get an office space across the street from the branch. And really he's there because he needs to do intel, surveillance.
Scope out all the cameras, the guards, the entrances, and all that.
So that's Donnie's job. He's doing intel, and he's also in charge of finding the route out of France, and eventually they're going to go into Italy to get away. But they're like no camera, so he's over all of that. That's like his role in the team. The team, however, doesn't really like Donnie that much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was that they had something against black people or what, but right off the jump, maybe it's just, okay, let me take a step back. The team is part of the mafia.
Yeah.
The Pantera mafia. So they also just could be not trusting of
outsiders.
People.
Yeah.
You know, black people always think somebody don't like.
We'll say it's outsiders.
Anyway,
maybe.
Yes, they don't like outsiders. So, yeah, they give him a hard time throughout the film. Eventually, they start to warm up to him, but right off the bat, no. So Donnie, he's chilling. He's coming back from hanging out with them and stuff. Shows up at his place, and who's in there? Nick. He found exactly where he was. He met up with the police in France, kind of trying to get some jurisdiction there. And he identifies Donnie on a surveillance tape. However, he doesn't tell the police that that's the guy he was looking for. So we kind of think, okay, Nick trying to do some underhanded stuff. And what he said he was trying to do was he wanted in on the heist.
Yeah, essentially. He comes in, he's like, tell me all your plans. Introduce me to your team. I want to be part of it. I'm trying to, set up and be part of the heist.
Can we just talk about O'Shea?
Yeah.
Real quick. Donald.
Dang, government name. That's crazy.
Donald called himself looking so smooth with this gun. He sit up, Nick come in, or Nick is already at the table.
Trailer too.
Yeah, you see it, because he played him.
Yeah.
He sit down, he got the gun all cocked and stuff. And that man took that gun out of his hand so fast.
It was quick.
Bumbling with the dang gun. And like, one of the things that I liked about the first one and coming into here is that, like, you really thought Donnie wasn't a player for real in the first one. Like, you really thought he was a nobody. He was like a peon, right?
And then a lot of times in the first film, he's like a puncher bag.
He got tortured. They drugged him or something like one time. So
it was really cool to see him come out
on top, like clever, witty, you know.
And so he comes into this movie with kind of that energy, like, oh, okay, so you the mastermind.
Swag about him.
Yeah.
So when he sat up there with that gun, I'm like, okay, Donald, what you about to do? And that man took that gun from his hands. Anyway, yes, Nick is like, listen, basically blackmailing him, saying you gotta make me be a part of the team. So Donnie essentially is bringing him into the heist. The team already didn't like him, so they were skeptical about Donnie. Now they're skeptical about Nick too. And they're like, okay, but they needed somebody to be security, right?
So it works out that in scoping out the World Diamond Center across the street, they realize, oh man, we need somebody as a head of security to get us in. And unfortunately, that person also has to be police. So it just turns out that this works perfect because Nick was already police. So
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be Donnie's police escort. He's head of
Yeah.
security into the World Diamond Center.
So essentially, Donnie is like renting a room, like an office space across the street. He asks somebody, hey, they don't have available vault space. Can I use some of your vault space? And she eventually is like, yeah, he had to pay some money for it. And so now, using that vault space and having Nick is allowing them to get in and get the full layout
Of the
inside
vault
the vault. So they know where the cameras are, sensors are, all of that stuff. And he's kind of just even learning about like the staff and the security and stuff like that. So that's kind of going on. You see this dynamic between Nick and Donnie begin to build that I wasn't sure how I felt about it. Like,
yeah, it almost looked like they start to become friends, but of course you really can't trust Nick because he talked to the French police when he first got there. So it's like, whose side are you on? Are you really gonna be a cop, or are you really flipping to be a thief? Like,
and like, I can see why Donnie might have believed that, you know, he was flipping because he was a dirty cop anyway.
Yeah, he was.
Right?
He was
a dirty cop. He was doing any and everything. Like, they walked in, they interrogated him. It's strippers, it's lines of cocaine everywhere. They weren't doing anything by the book.
Nope.
So, could I believe that Nick wanted to flip? Like, yeah, I could believe that. And so I guess Donnie could believe that too. So you still start to see this relationship build with them. And the one place, the biggest part where you see that kind of like character development of their relationship, they had this scene at the club.
Yeah, so at the club, they were like drinking, you know, they was getting drunk, they was taking drugs and stuff.
They was messed up.
They was messed
smoking
up.
Something that had pixie dust in it, and it was a little funny.
And so this is what I mean. This scene was funny, but only for a brief moment. It just went on a little too long.
It lasted a little bit too long.
And we was like, all right, you know, comedic, okay, let's move on. Like, all right, you know.
But no, you got to see Gerard Butler and everybody trying to act all drunk and stuff like that. So one of the main team members, her call sign was Cleopatra. What was her name in the movie?
See, her real name was Evan Ahmad.
Okay. We're just gonna call her Cleo though, because that's what I was calling her the whole time. You see her, so she's kind of like the point person for the rest of the team. Like, the rest of the team is like other guys, but she's kind of running the show. Like, she brought Donnie in. She was calling the shots on whether or not Nick could be there. So you see that she has more influence than some of the other guys. And Nick starts to get very flirty with her when they're high, and now you start to see that, are they trying to build like a relationship between them? I don't know. It just didn't.
I kind of wanted them to focus on the heist. I was like, I don't really care that much about like a relationship between you and this person, especially like, it's not like, maybe if the person was someone who carried on from the first film, and maybe we like sort of know a backstory with them, and we like, okay, now we're starting to see something like blossom with them, but like, I don't care about her. Like, and
Nick wasn't a relationship type of person.
No, he not.
So I don't know. They do some different things with his character that I don't know how I feel about it. I like gritty, rugged, not caring about anything and anybody Nick. I kind of like that. So when they started to make him seem all like he wanted a family, you know, he started thinking about his kids that he hadn't paid attention to. Now all of a sudden, like, you paying attention to it. I don't know. It seemed out of place. But they start to flirt with each other. And one of the crew members is Cleo's ex-boyfriend, Marco. So Marco don't like it. What happened? They start fighting.
Right. They get kicked out of the club. And eventually they just stumbling around cobblestone streets drunk. They look for food, and they get to this like little restaurant. And they start sitting down, and this was actually a good moment, but they have this like smaller, I guess more intimate moment where
it's a little heart to heart. So this is just Nick and Donnie. The rest of the team at this point, they left.
And so Nick and Donnie just kind of explain their backstories, and I actually like that. Like, that was pretty cool. I was like, okay, he explained why he's a thief, why he can't stop stealing, his whole reason behind it, and then Nick kind of explains why, you know, he became a cop and why he hunts thieves.
And so both of them kind of come to these moments where you realize for Donnie, it's been about the challenge.
Mm.
Like, even though he had some financial hardships in the past, and that kind of influenced what made him want to start stealing from people, it's really the challenge. He liked knowing, this is impossible. Nah, I can figure out how to get in here. I can do this. I can do that. He liked the challenge.
Mm.
And Nick kind of showed, for him, it was about the hunt. I think he said, like, his dad was killed, and there was a whole story about, like, trying to catch the person who killed his dad. And so, yeah, for him, it was all about the hunt. So you see this relationship build. I guess that's the direction they wanted to go. I didn't know how I felt about it in the moment, but I liked hearing the backstory. I'm not sure how I felt about, like, them being all buddy now.
Yeah, no.
But, you know, so they end up getting grabbed by this, who is he? Like, the head.
It's like a mafia henchman.
Yeah.
And essentially they like, hey, you remember that diamond you stole at the beginning of the film?
Mm-hmm.
That belonged to us.
Ours.
That belonged to the mafia. So then they take them on a boat. They toss them in the water. They're like, look, get my diamond back. You know, essentially, get the diamond back or we'll kill you, essentially.
And push him off the boat.
Yeah.
And what did he say he was?
He said he was negatively buoyant.
I can't swim that far. I'm negatively buoyant.
Bro, what?
I'm like, okay. So now, because there's this tension of, oh, not only are we doing this heist, but these people are going to kill you if you can't get this diamond back. Nick is saying, like, look, I'm out. This don't have nothing to do with me. I don't want no parts in any of this. Mm-hmm. And Donnie is like, you just gonna bail on me now? Mm-hmm. Like, and again, they playing off this whole relationship thing, which I feel like is very, like, shallow and loose to begin with.
You don't care, as the audience, like, you kind of come into this film to see action, and, like, you don't really care that much about, like, the relationship.
And not just that, I just didn't feel like they had no strong relationship. Like, bro, you came over here to hunt me down.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you're like, you just gonna bail on me? This man wasn't your friend.
No,
I don't know. Again, you have to see how you feel about the whole relationship part. But it doesn't last long, because eventually Donnie calls Nick and he's like, you know, you want to come back? And Nick like, yeah, I want to come back. And I'm like, okay. So he's back in. And they continue to do more intel to prepare for the heist. So main part that we find out is the night that they're planning the heist on is the same night as a big football game. Okay, you know, soccer, European country, that's the big thing. So
at this point, they've got everything they need for the heist. All the guards and stuff that go to the game, like after they get off work, and they leave the vault, and they leave the World Diamond Center.
Well, security is still there. There's still security, but there's the main person, a concierge, who lives in the building with the vault. He's the one who leaves, essentially. And so they're like, okay, this is what we need to do. They figured out, because of the cameras, they needed to come from up top. So essentially they're going to go over and down into the building to get into the vault. So we get to see all of this time movement. Cleo is basically like, look out. She's on comms. So she's able to tell them when they should move from one corridor to the next, because she's watching how quickly the cameras are going to flow, essentially.
And how did you feel about the heist? Like, did you like the heist? The actual, you know what I'm saying? The actual heist when it went down?
I mean, I think it was cool. They didn't have a whole lot of stuff that they needed to do. It was like, you know, the cameras were the main thing that they were working against. Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot of other stuff. Besides the fact that they had to go, like, up and down an elevator shaft. There was some tension, like, at that part. And I'm like,
but it was minimal, though. It wasn't like I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, you know.
No. At any, like, point at all did I think somebody was about to fall down the elevator shaft. Like, not necessarily, but it was okay. So they make it all the way into the vault. There's a heat sensor that they have to disable and stuff too. So they make it in there, and because Nick has been inside, he knows which box. Safety deposit box. Yeah,
safety deposit box.
The diamond is in. So they go in that one, it's not there. Then they just start opening, looking for this diamond. They throwing stuff everywhere, all over the ground, and I'm like, bro, what are y'all doing?
Right.
Like,
and at this time, the concierge is on his way back.
Yeah. So he doesn't even stay for the whole end of the game. He's like, look, that's a wrap. So he's on his way back. They're flipping through boxes and stuff like that. And eventually, at the very, very last second, they find the diamond. And then they start stuffing stuff in the bags.
Yeah.
Like, why they
Like,
weren't just
y'all
dumping
could
them
have
out.
been stuffing
The whole
jewelry,
time, y'all
money in
wasted
the bag.
time and missing
It's,
money.
it's almost like they were just watching Donnie fumble, looking
That's
for the
that's
diamond.
literally
And I'm
all
like,
they were doing.
y'all could have
That
been
made me
putting
upset.
thousands of dollars in the bags,
Just-
and you know, y'all just, but all y'all doing is yelling, man, we gotta go, bro.
That was it.
Grab the money.
So that was just kind of like, no, y'all wasn't thinking.
No.
But he finds the diamond. They get out of the building all the way onto the roof. And again, like we said, they kind of had to go over from one building to the next. So on their way back over to the other building, the pole that they're crawling over or using to crawl over falls down. It breaks and falls down. I'm like, these heavy men, okay? But falls down. Security hears it. They see it. And now everybody is on alert.
Mm-hmm.
So who goes after who at that point?
So Nick doesn't make it. He actually stays because when the pole fell, like he was still over in the World Diamond Center. Mm-hmm. So he tries to shoot his way out. That was briefly entertaining, but again, nobody died.
You wanted somebody to die.
I mean, I wanted some tension. You know, I was like,
he only shot like one person.
Yeah, he put 2 shots in this dude's chest.
He knew that man had on a security vest.
He knew he wasn't gonna die. He put 2 shots in him, but he had a security vest. Yeah. He like checked him afterwards. You know, he
was like, "You good? You not dead?"
Yeah, soft. You know.
Again,
but then
Nick, hold on, creating this soft character for Nick. Yeah. Even when they went into the heist, Cleo was like, "You better make sure you're not playing me." And I'm like, "Girl."
I'm like, he don't know you enough to.
What was y'all even doing?
Yeah, nah, bro.
You're not. Anyway, soft Nick. Yes. But eventually, he's able to get out. Mm-hmm. They get into this car. They do this whole little switch up because the first car they drove in there, obviously security cameras have that. They have the license plate. Yeah. So they pulled the paint off. That was very clean.
That was clean. They came in with a white Porsche. It was actually fire, but they came with this white Porsche. They get to the car, switch the license plates, pull the
so now it's black.
Pull the paint off. Now it's black, and like they escape. I'm like, okay, that was nice. But then again, very short lived. So on their escape, they trying to get out through this tunnel, and who you know behind them? Marco, the dude who left the team earlier in the film. Yeah. And I'm like,
so okay, Marco again was the ex-boyfriend. Marco, the one that got mad because Nick was dancing with his girl.
Right? And that was even so light that you was that mad, like just from dancing. It just, I don't know, bro. Like it wasn't strong enough for him to get that upset. Like they didn't, you know, kiss or they weren't more intimate. They were just dancing.
Happened. They literally were just dancing. They were really high and like dancing forehead to forehead. But like
again, that wasn't intimate
and that's your
enough to get mad at.
ex-girlfriend. I don't know. But so he's the one. When you see the trailer and you see the car chase, Marco is the one, the ex-team member that's coming after them.
That's shooting back at him,
So you really liked the car chase.
I like the car chase because we finally got to see the one thing we know Donnie for, like, which is driving.
Yes, so he was a driver in the first film.
So he was a driver, like that's why he was recruited in the first film, or that's why that was his job. So like now, you know, he's driving. Nick is in the passenger seat. You know, they pull out their guns, they shooting at Marco and his team. So, but then he does this reverse switch, like, and he's driving backwards, going 60, 70 miles an hour. It was a cool scene. Yeah. And they're like shooting backwards, and then, you know, but essentially they escape. They get to these like rural type of roads that are like on the hills and stuff, and like
because they're along the coast. So think like Amalfi Coast, like cliffs that kind of look like that. Yeah. They're in between France and Italy, driving along the coast. Yeah. Right now.
So these are like really narrow roads. They're like on hills, like on hairpin turns. Mm-hmm. So Marco was able to shoot out their tire, and they hit a wall, and they get out. They got their hands up. Marco and the team get out the car. They got like M4s on them. They walking towards them, and all of a sudden they get killed. And I was like, okay, so that must be the woman.
That's what I thought.
So I was like, that must be the woman who
I thought Cleo was coming back. And I'm like, okay, Cleo.
Right. I was like, okay, you know, it's good time.
Do it.
But then it turned out not to be her. It turned out to be the mafia dudes who were trying to get Donnie back from, you know, stealing his diamond.
Yes.
And what I don't like is how they magically knew
exactly where they were
would be, because it's
on
not,
all of these turns. Like, you're in the middle of nowhere. So like Marco knew where Donnie was gonna be because he was a part of the team. He had already talked about it.
Yeah.
But how they knew exactly where they were gonna be?
It's the sequence of the chase. The car could have crashed anywhere. He could have shot the tire out at any moment. And so the car could have crashed at any turn.
There weren't like roads that were going like along, like you know, one up here, one down there. It wasn't like that either. So how they found him, I don't know. So do you think they were like somehow still tracking Donnie? Because we didn't mention this part, but like when they stole the diamond, it was in a package. The package had a tracking device in it, which is how the head mafia dude, what they call him, the octopus. It's how the octopus even knew that Donnie had the diamond in the first place. So do you think they still could have been somehow tracking him?
I want to say no, because if the GPS tracker was still in the packaging with the diamond, and they didn't clearly show us that he got rid of it, then I would have been like, oh, okay.
But we saw him get rid of it.
Yeah, we saw him get rid of it. So then, had they kept it in the packaging, I would have been like, oh, well, they used a GPS tracker that was next to the diamond to track the location. But no, they literally just crashed into like a part of a cliff, like a cliffside, and then above the cliff, the mafia dude standing on the hill. They mow him down, and then they have this like prisoner exchange scene where they both walk in the middle of the street.
Lined up.
Yeah.
He put his hand out. Donnie gave him the diamond.
Yeah.
They burn the vehicles. They get up out of there.
Yeah. Right? And again, it was cool. It just felt kind of easy. I don't know. If I was like, okay.
Finding him felt easy. Yeah. I would agree with that.
And like they didn't harm him. They took the diamond. They left. So at this point, you know, the heist is pretty much over. They escape with the jewels and a little bit of money they got.
They get into Italy.
Yeah.
And they're meeting back up with Cleo. So Cleo is with some of the rest of the mafia group that's in Italy. They all meet up. You walk in, you see all of this stuff. I guess they got away with enough stuff. Maybe we greedy. I don't know.
it just looks like in the moment, it don't look like they put that much money in there, but they put a lot of like diamonds and jewels and stuff.
Yeah.
So
you see the whole spread out there. They're like, oh my God.
They're like, oh man.
Salute, bro, they about to have a drink.
We going crazy.
They're like, y'all part of the mafia now. To Pantera.
Everybody toasting. They get the salute. Hey.
And as soon as you think everything cool, whoop, whoop.
The SWAT come around. Yeah. They hands behind your back, you know, get down, whatever. Then they all looking like
arresting everybody and looking around.
Something? And I mean, of course,
who said something?
Yeah,
Nick.
It was Nick. Yeah. Of course it was, because remember, he was a cop. Then he's talking about, and then they kill me in the trailers, because every trailer I seen for this, I keep hearing the phrase "cop goes gangster." Cop, I was so tired of hearing that.
They did say that. I saw that on the poster the other day.
I was so tired of hearing that.
Cop goes gangster. One, he was already very gangster.
Right?
He was not clean cut
I was like,
cop.
Bro, shut up! Like, I'm so tired of this trailer. Keep on saying cop, and then like they got that shocker.
All for him to be all soft and hard, soft now, and worried about families and stuff. And so as everybody is getting arrested, what is Nick doing? He's sitting over there. He just looking like, man, I can't believe I betrayed my friend. I betrayed my girl. And I'm like, bro, this is not. This is weak.
It's not what we know his character to be.
Yeah.
It's just, it don't feel like what he would do.
And the relationships aren't built there. Like, they just didn't feel strong enough for him to be sitting over there feeling like he betrayed everybody.
Yeah.
But he felt that way.
Yeah.
So Donnie gets arrested. We see a flash of the head mafia guy, the octopus guy. Mm-hmm. He's in a barber chair. He sees that Donnie got arrested, and you see him kind of smirk, right? Mm-hmm. So who comes to see Donnie while he's in jail?
So Nick comes to see Donnie, and like, obviously this is a sour meeting, because it's like, okay. It's like, why you come to see me after you betrayed me?
I guess, are we even now?
Yeah,
that's what Donnie said to him. Are we even? And essentially, Nick is all like, hey, this is just kind of how things happen. But as he's leaving, he tells him,
he's like, oh, by the way, sit in the back left.
Yeah.
And so, of course,
that means he about to break him out.
Yeah, it felt tropey. I was like, okay, so you're essentially saying on his transport to the prison, he gonna get broken out. Like, that's very. It always happens in these kind of films. It seemed like real easy during transport to break out.
They show up. It's what, a little convoy, 3-car convoy. They show up with 2 helicopters. Stop the convoy.
The scene was kind of cool. It was like one helicopter landed on the street in front of the convoy, and one landed in the back, so it couldn't drive nowhere.
They come in there, they cut the door off.
Yeah.
They get Donnie.
Yeah, it was like in and out, 60 seconds. It was quick.
And so Donnie, bag over his head, he gets flown somewhere, Sardinia, yeah. And who is he sitting in front of? He's there with the octopus.
Yeah, the main like head mafia dude.
Yes.
And essentially, at this point, he got the diamond back, so there's no reason why the mafia dude want to talk to him. But essentially, the mafia dude's like, "Hey, you did the impossible. You stole the diamond back. You work for me now.
Yeah, I want you to work for me."
And I was like, "So Diamond just gonna accept this?" And he do. He like, "Man, what's next?" And I'm like, "Okay, so please, I don't need a 3. Like,
I don't need it.
When he said what's next,
next was clear indication they're trying to make a 3.
I don't need no 3, bro.
Okay,
like,
we going for a trilogy.
No, yeah, and like I'm just praying they don't make this a Fast and Furious where they on Den of Thieves 6.
God forbid.
Nah, bro, please don't.
I will let y'all know I do not like sequels a lot of times. Definitely after 2, I'll be like, okay, come up with something new, do something different.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. I'm not surprised that he accepted it though, because again, what did he say? It's about the challenge for him.
Yeah. So
I'm not surprised by him accepting it, but I'm talking about overall them making a 3. I don't necessarily need that to happen.
No, I don't. But I mean, he could just keep going on adventures of thievery.
Yes, and then Nick just rode off in the sunset. Was the girl in the car with him? She wasn't in the car. No clue.
So that's how unimportant she was.
Okay. And he up her all heartbroken and stuff. If he cared that much, she would have been in the car.
She would have been in the car. No,
you would have got her out. We didn't see him break her out.
No, but then they want to spend all this time on their emotional closeness. Wow.
So, yeah. Okay. Out of 10 rating scale, what are you giving Den of Thieves to Pantera?
I'm giving it a 6. It was like entertaining. I came in with nostalgia from the first one, so it already had my goodwill. It's lost my goodwill because 2 was not as good as 1. The seriousness wasn't there. They leaned too hard into comedy, and I don't know. It felt like a template. Like we just wanted to make another one so we could make some more money, but not that we had a real story to make. If that makes sense, like we just made another heist. And
I don't know. I feel like there could have been a story there.
There could have been.
I wish that it would have still been the hunt and the heist without the friendship.
And you know what? I wish they would have taken more time to make the thieves, the team, more endearing, because I didn't care about the thieves in 2, but I cared about the thieves in 1. Like all the supporting thieves, I cared about Merriman. I cared about. Well, I mean, I can't remember their names at the moment.
But Merriman wasn't a thief; he was another cop.
Well, yeah, but he was part of the team of thieves, though.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah. I'm getting my sides crossed.
Yeah, no, he was part of the team.
You're right.
And I just feel like you have your main,
but you
and your supporting character, but I cared about the team. Like I think we know like one of their names. Drago was somebody's name.
Yeah,
I don't know what his name is.
But yeah, okay. So you say 6?
Yeah, I'm gonna say a 6.
I'm gonna do 6.5.
Okay.
I agree with a lot of stuff that you're saying though. There wasn't a lot of action. I think it's just like a kind of average film. I think I'm giving it the 0.5 because I really like Gerard Butler.
Yeah, I love him.
And good O'Shea.
Yeah.
So yeah. You all get in the comment section. If you go see the movie, let us know what you think about it. Let us know how you feel about the dynamic.
Yeah, what you think of the movie.
Get into the comments, y'all. Let's talk about it. And we'll see y'all in the next video.
All right, see y'all later.